At 7 months pregnant, everyone kept saying the same thing. You look happy. You look settled. You're glowing. I believed them because I wanted to. The garden was full of blue balloons. Too many, actually. They kept bumping into each other, like they were restless. People laughed, took pictures, talked about names and due dates. Nathan stood in front of everyone, smiling, the kind of smile that makes people feel safe. He said, "I'm the luckiest man alive. My wife, my child, my family." People clapped. I clapped too. That's when I noticed him, my father's lawyer. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't even looking at the decorations. He walked up to me slowly and said, "Can we talk for a minute?" His voice was quiet, too quiet for a celebration. We stepped away from the noise. I asked him, "Is something wrong?" He didn't answer immediately. Then he said, "I wouldn't be here if everything was right." He looked at me and said, "Your husband didn't marry you by chance." I laughed. I actually laughed and said, "What do you mean?" He replied, "He's been paying attention to you, your family, your father's estate." The way he said it made my chest tighten. He handed me an envelope, thick, heavy. He said, "Your father asked me to protect you. Not your marriage, not your happiness. You." I asked him, "Why are you telling me this today?" He said, "Because secrets don't get kinder with time." That night, Nathan lay beside me. His hand rested on my stomach. He smiled and said, "Everything we planned is finally working out." I smiled back, but something inside me went quiet. Not scared, not angry, just alert. I didn't open the envelope, not yet. But that night, for the first time in a long time, I stopped feeling safe. And when safety disappears, love starts asking questions. I almost didn't open the file, not because I was afraid of what I'd see, but because part of me already knew. The room was quiet. Too quiet. My father's lawyer sat across from me, watching my face the way doctors do when they're about to say something permanent. He told me my father changed his will before he died. I nodded. That sounded harmless. Then he said the word conditions. Blood conditions. I remember blinking. Once, twice, and then he said it. My husband knew he couldn't have children. Not recently, not accidentally. He knew before he met me. My first reaction wasn't anger. It was embarrassment. Because suddenly every memory replayed itself with new subtitles. The fertility appointments, the tears he held me through, the way he always knew exactly what to say. It wasn't love. It was rehearsal. I asked myself one question over and over. Why marry me? The answer sat quietly on the table. Inheritance. The baby wasn't a miracle. It was leverage. I pressed my hand against my stomach and felt my child move. That's when it hurt, because the baby was real, but the life around them wasn't. I walked out of that office holding papers that felt heavier than my body. And for the first time, I didn't ask myself, how did this happen? I asked something worse. How long has he been watching me? I stayed. Not because I was weak, because I needed time. 3 weeks. That's how long it took to dismantle a life built on lies. I smiled at breakfast. I laughed at the right moments. I let him believe nothing had changed. And every time he touched my stomach, I reminded myself, don't rush. Don't react. Observe. At night, while he slept, I became someone else. I stopped explaining things away. I stopped defending him in my head. I followed the money. I read messages twice. I noticed patterns I used to call stress. That's when I called my sister. The one he warned me about. The one he said was unstable. Funny how people who ask questions are always labeled difficult. She didn't sound surprised. She just said, "You trusted him because you wanted peace." That sentence stayed with me, because peace is expensive. And I had been paying for it with my instincts. Those 3 weeks taught me something brutal. Sometimes strength looks like silence, like patience, like letting someone believe they're in control while you're counting exits. I didn't confront him immediately. I planned a dinner, nice lighting, clean table, no witnesses. He thought it was celebration. That hurt more than his lies. When I slid the documents across the table, he didn't understand at first. Then his face changed. Denial came first, then anger, then panic. I didn't interrupt. I had already spent my emotions weeks earlier. I watched him realize something terrifying. Love doesn't erase evidence. Charm doesn't rewrite contracts. My father didn't trust feelings. He trusted safeguards. And suddenly, everything he thought he owned started slipping away. Not because I was cruel, but because clarity arrived. When he finally stopped talking, the silence felt earned. That night, when the door closed behind him, I didn't feel victorious. I felt empty. And then, lighter. Because the most painful lesson I learned was also the most freeing. If you have to shrink yourself to keep peace, it was never peace. It was permission. It was